Hi friends, it's Jenny and I'm getting ready to work on a layout using my summer kit that I put together. I did select a PageMaps sketch to inspire me, and so let me show you what I've got planned here. I've got 3 horizontal photos. So this is a sketch from September 2024. I am going to have to cut my photos down some because they're all 4 by 6, but I do believe that there's enough on each one of them that I can cut down a little bit. Now, the reason for this sketch was the horizontal photos, but also 3 different patterns to choose from. So we're going to have a background and then a band across. You've got this here, and then you also have behind the photos. You also have your photos are matted with a piece of paper. So I liked the idea of the different, of multi-photos. Now I can do it this way, I can do it this way. I haven't really thought about, where I'm gonna title and put embellishments and such, but this is what I'm inspired by. This is, that's how I'm gonna pick my papers, lay things out, and then we'll go to embellish from there. I'm gonna be using the summer break collection from Echo Park. And what I have here is a few of the things that I did get with the collection. Now this is obviously not with the collection, but I felt the colors matched well enough. These are just some flair from Scrappin Happy Studio. From the actual collection, I have the enamel dots. Now these are the 3 photos I'm going to use. This is obviously from several, well, you would know, this is from several years ago. I think Georgie here was maybe 4. He's going to be 23. So this is how old these photos are. This is my husband's Uncle Bob. We were in California, and Uncle Bob passed some time ago. So Uncle Bob's no longer with us, but this was a picture of him and George, and then him with George and my husband. Now you can't really tell, but George has a different look on his face in the 2. So does Uncle Bob. So I've got these 3 photos that I plan to scrapbook from our visit to Uncle Bob in California. I have the frames and tags. I don't so much, and you've heard me say it before and you'll hear me say it again, I don't care for Echo Park's ephemera, only because every pack of frames and tags has these exact shapes with just a different image slapped over it. That's probably not a kind way to say that. I can't think of, image imprinted on it. So there's not a lot of icon-y type things, shapes, different things from the collections, but I do like me a good frame and a good tag. I do have the adhesive brads. Now this collection was released at the beginning of the year. So this was before I made my decision that I have to get one or the other. So it doesn't matter. I will use them. It's just, thinking about moving forward. I know I've talked about, I can only get one or the other, but then you just saw with my Winnie the Pooh collection, I bought both. So constant struggle. I do have the chipboard words and phrases as well as the chipboard accents. So now chipboard accents, you can see here, we've got shapes. So we've got, the shoe shape, the sun shape, pinball, whatever, different kinds of shapes. Not everything is going to be the same static shape with just something else imprinted on top of it. And then with the chipboard words and phrases, it's just, I get this to use for titling. So I've got that. I also included in my summer kit this sticker book from Summer Vibes because I felt like the colors matched. Now the colors match, but the theme for Summer Vibes is more like pool, beach, that type of thing. So these are not really pool beach photos, but I thought there might be, some things that I can use in here. And if not, no biggie. I've got the sticker sheet as well, but I put this in my kit, so I want to somehow use it. Maybe I can use these alphas for a subtitle, or, maybe use a word phrase. So we've got, mini little border strips. So I have this in here as well to use. So we've got, our little fun kit here to work with. The papers I have selected here are, this first one is all of the different typography and images and things like that in the collection. And the paper itself is called Summer State of Mind. I will be using a piece of this for this side. I've also picked the stripes. I'm a big fan of stripes, both horizontally, vertically, and diagonally. So stripes are one of my favorite papers to use in most lines. This is the 3x4 journaling cards. So as I look at the journaling cards, I'm going to be careful where I cut in case there is a set of journaling cards that I want to use. So when I look at this, you can see here, so say you wanted to cut this out and use, you know, for a piece of titling, or even this play all day and cut them out one by one. Say you want to use this camera for a piece of ephemera, or even here, you know, your baseball shoes and your bat, things like that. So that's what I'm looking when I look at this piece of paper. I first identify if there's something on one of the 3x4 cards that I want to use. And if there is, I make sure to keep in mind where I'm going to cut it for the piece of paper that I'm going to use. I hope that makes sense. The other piece of paper I've got selected, this one is called Sweet Summer Scoops. I picked it for the orange side. In my pictures, you'll notice that in Georgie's swimsuit, he's got these orange sleeves here. Another piece of paper I picked has light blue for Uncle Bob's shirt. My husband's also wearing like a light blue shirt. So that's what I was looking for, the orange and the blues. So I've got this orange piece. I said it's Sweet Summer Scoops. I'm not using it for the ice cream side. I am using it for this orange check. Now when I bought this collection, I did buy the additional, just the cardstock. So this one is the red blue. As you can see, this light blue would be fantastic for the background if I wanted to use this. The other side is red. I would not be using the red side. I picked it for the light blue side, or even if this is what I want to map my photos in or something like that. Same thing with this one. This is called Navy Yellow. I selected it for the navy side so that if I want to use this for my background or matting my photos, it's going to be one or the other. So one of them is going to be the background with the paper layers over it, and the other one will be used to mat the photos. And as I mentioned, I do have the sticker sheet, so a lot of fun icons here. Let's see, this was a visit to California. You know, we've got sunshine, the stars are fun. We've got, you know, so hot it was California. Summer break, we were on summer break. So these arrows are kind of fun. So this is the collection that I'm inspired to use. It's one of the last ones to use that I put in my summer kit as far as collections go. I did have maybe some page kits to use yet, and that's okay. We're at the beginning of August. I've got time, and I'm inspired, motivated, and you know, want to create. So let me go ahead, get some cutting done, figure some things out where I want to go with my sketch, and we'll come back and talk about it. Okay friends, I've got the base down. So what I did is I used the navy blue for the background. I used that orange for the piece here, the stripe, and then obviously this one I cut into 8x8. This is, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 inches maybe? 7x12? 6x12. Sorry, I cut it right in half. Duh. What I did here is I used, actually, we've all got these, right? And I took them out and I used some shape scissors from Fiskars. I still wish I might do some mixed media behind here, because I just, not that it doesn't stand out, obviously it does. I think I'm just so used to matting my layouts, or having this be more noticeable, like if I did a tear so that you'd see the white core or some such thing. But I was trying to mimic the layout as much as I could, mimic the sketch. So I picked out some things to use here. Let me show you what I've got and what I'm thinking. I do have some navy blue and white twine, or maybe it's black, I don't know. My finishing touches are obviously going to be the adhesive brads or the enamel dots. Now, Most of the things that I have are stickers or chipboard. I did pick out 2 pieces from the frames and tags, and you'll notice a couple of the things are the same, so they're not all going to get used. Now the first thing is the title was down here and it was on a circle, and this was in the frames and tags, and I'm going to use this with the chipboard Summer as my title, and I'm going to pop that up. So let me go ahead and get some pop dots on this, and then we will have to put just a little bit on the one side of the circle, so that, because I did pop up the strip of photos. This shouldn't take too long, but at the same time, I'm very indecisive at times, so you never know. So we're going to go ahead and just line this up. And I'm using, so I do want that to lay on top of the photo. So like I said, I only needed some dimensional adhesive over here. And this is what I used on the back of my photos. And because I want it to be the same height, I'm going to go ahead and use this on the circle. So we get maybe 2 pieces, and then I'll put regular ATG adhesive on the other side. Now since I put pop dots on the chipboard, I don't have to also use the liquid adhesive, but if I was just going to lay it straight on there, I would have put a liquid adhesive on the back of that, just because sometimes chipboard does not stay for the long haul. Now based on the sketch, how the embellishments were laid out were, there was a cluster here, here, and then here. So for up here, I thought I would do on the sticker sheet, there is a sunshine and a cloud, and I thought I would overlay these. So let's go ahead and put our cloud down, and I do want to put dimensional adhesive on the back of the sunshine. Now you obviously do not have to do that. I'm just a weirdo that likes everything popped up. So I thought, you know, that would be a nice start. And like I said, I'm actually going to move the cloud down so it's on top of the orange. So let's go ahead and do this and do this. Okay. Now to start off the embellishment cluster over here, I thought about using the tag, Timeless Moments, because these are timeless moments when we went to go visit Uncle Bob. And that's why I pulled out the twine. The other things that were here in the chipboard is there is another camera, so I thought I might pop that, you know, give it some more depth and use this here. And then there was also this, you know, making cherished memories. I think I'm going to use the tag and the camera, and we'll put this and use that for next time. So let me go ahead and get some twine out of here so that we can make a bow. Let me grab forgot the Scrappin Happy Studio flair in case there was something there. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this into I'm going to feed it through the hole there. Going to take it out, and the reason is because my 2 ends, when I moved it, these are not lined up, and I want them to be the same lengths on each side so that when I make a bow, the tails can be almost the same. They're never exactly the same because I might do a little trim. And let's go ahead and make a bow. I'm just going to go ahead and tucky tuck here. And like I said, then I'm going to go ahead and I don't think I'm going to put a pop down on the back of here. I will use some liquid adhesive to go ahead and put the camera down. So what else do we have here? Like I said, we're going to use that Making Cherished Memories. So some of the other things that I pulled were just some wordy bits and these stars. So there's not a whole lot as far as, like I told you when I was going through this stuff, there's not a lot of icon type of ephemera. So from the stickers, I did pull the stars, which I do like. And we'll just kind of go ahead and put these down. Here and over here. I am going to use this here. Here, and then the navy blue, I just figured we'll go ahead and, or do we want it on the orange? That might be fun. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, and then we were on summer break, so I kind of wanted to use this somewhere. Let's see. I don't like summer break. It's kind of ridiculous. Maybe here. And then we've also got this little happy banner. Could always do this, happy summer. And then I also got this golden days, although probably won't use this either. So two of the items that I took out. So the thing is I didn't put this down yet, or the happy, so let's see. I will put these things away. I do have the Scrappin Happy Studio Flair, so let me see if there was anything in this that I wanted to use, and that's why I haven't stuck this down, because in case there's something maybe in here that would maybe work better. Got some hearts and a rainbow and a heart, cloud. So these might be, I might be able to use 3 of these. Let's see. So I like the idea of using the blue cloud on top of the cloud here. Couple clouds in the sunshine. And then I like the, what does this say? Good vibes. Won't use the sun. We won't use the red cloud. That's kind of fun. Like the colors in the rays there. Or do we like this? Nope, I don't like this, and the reason is because of the way the stripes are horizontally and these are vertically. Do we like just the rainbow? No, I like, from my initial thought, I like this. So what color heart should we use? Should we use yellow or should we use red? I'm thinking yellow, because this is red already. And we've got the blue cloud and then the rainbow here. So I think I'm going to do that. So yay, we use some flair. And then let's look at our enamel dots and our brands. I typically use glue dots for my flair. And I'll use 2 of them. This. Now based on, you know, what I've got here, and how I'm embellishing. This is embellishment light for what I typically do. And that's okay. That's what this kind of calls for. Honestly, if I had more icon type things, I would probably more than likely use them. And what would those icon things be? I don't know. I can't tell you for sure what they would be. I usually find all kinds of uses for animals, or I know some people, and that's absolutely fine, because if that's the way you scrapbook, you know, very literal, nothing wrong with that. I just don't. I'm a like the stuff. I mean, there's some things I do have a hard time using. I'm gonna do this Happy Summer. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at our brads. Because in my mind, adding one more circle to each of these is not a bad thing. So let's see what's in here. I personally do not like these large gems. You will see me use them at times, but they are not my favorite. Let's see. I'm honestly not seeing anything that I want to use. So I may just use enamel dots and call it a day. Not that I don't like these, because I do. It's just that for this particular layout, let me tell you what I'm seeing. So I thought about the sun up here, but I'm good with this one sun. And I honestly, I've used more than one sun on layouts. I use more than one rainbow. It's just, you know what looks good to my eye. Thought about the stripe and, you know, making it go vertically, but I'm like, I like the rays that I've got here. Talking about literal, I don't see a need for the shoes or the popcorn or the baseball. The blue stripes would be okay, as well as this white. I don't really see if there's, looks like light blue something in there. This to me looks like winter time. I don't know why. Looks like snowflakes and a red dot. I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to be. I mean, the yellow is okay, but I'm using the yellow heart here. Like I said, I'm not too thrilled with these. I'm also not too thrilled with these. I think they just sit up too much. I will use them occasionally, though. I don't have a, you know, they're not my favorite, and that's not what I buy these packs for. I buy them for those 2 rows and the chipboard. These are kind of like bonuses, and if I use them, I use them. If that's what's left in a pack, I donate them usually. So let's see, we've got our enamel dots. So let's just go ahead and put 2 enamel dots in each one of our clusters to round out our circle. So let's think about what color we want to use. So we've got orange and navy blue. There's no navy blue. We've got orange, we've got yellow. Yellow would be good because I've got yellow here, yellow here. So maybe put a large yellow one over here. And then we will talk about which one gets the, I'm going to use a tiny yellow one up here. And a medium one here. And then what other color? Maybe red, huh? Red in the summer, we've got a red star. I don't have a whole lot of teal. I mean, I've got this teal star here, and there is teal in the stripes, teal in these different stars, but not a whole lot. I mean, the blue. So I think I'm going to use red. And what I'm going to do here is use, or maybe I'll use the light blue. The light blue might be nice. Light blue it is. So we are going to use a baby blue over here, a big blue over here, and a medium blue over here. right there. So this is going to be my finished layout. As a reminder, I'm just using my summer kit. This is the Summer Break collection from Echo Park. It was released this year. It was released, you know, at the beginning of the year when they were doing their summer collections. I was inspired by this sketch here from PageMaps, and it goes like this, but I flipped it so that I can use my horizontal photos. I used, you know, we've got our background. Here's this piece of paper that I used the scissors on. We've got this piece of paper behind our photos, and then the band across, and we've got our 3 embellishment clusters. So let me know what you think. That this is I wanted to use a collection that I picked out for the summer. Like I said before, I was trying to get one layout done with each one of the collections that I pulled. I'm doing pretty good there, and really that's the goal. Like for instance, I think I've said a couple times, if I get another one out of this collection, that's great, and if I don't, I'm okay with that too. It's just a matter of using what I have, getting some examples of that. You know, I'm trying to justify what I've purchased, that type of thing. I cut into 5 pieces of paper. So this was the orange, the light blue is behind the photos here. This is the navy yellow, so the navy is my background. The red is the back of the wordy paper, and there's the striped paper. So I cut into 5 pieces of paper. I've used stickers, chipboard, as well as some of the frames and tags. I used the enamel dots and some stickers and got some Scrappin Happy Studio flair in there. So let me know what you think. These are documenting some old photos. I'm going to look up the year. Like I said, I think Georgie's 3 or 4 here. So it's, you know, 19, 20 years ago. And Uncle Bob is no longer with us, but we love to remember him. You can see that's my husband's dad's brother. So it was a great memory. We went to California. We ended up going to Disney there. We have cousins. Doug has cousins in California. So a lot of them met us at Disney for the day. It was a lot of fun. And then from California, we went to Havasu, Arizona, where we spent a few days with another one of his aunt and uncles. I did a lot of lake time there. It was a lot of fun. And then it was home, but it was a really great vacation. I'm glad to have some memories documented. I've documented most of Havasu already because we were in the lake and they were on speedboats and tubing and all kinds of stuff, but good memories, something for the scrapbook. Thank you for tuning in, for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to, you know, hear your opinions, see what you got to say. God bless, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.